Back in open session. What little update? We just had a meeting with the state auditor about stuff we looked into the sewer district originally. He's just giving us the final closeout of some information on the sewer district.
Y'all have general questions you want to ask, or just, I mean, I guess everyone's aware of what we had. We received a E. coli positive on one of our test ports. And then on a repeat sample, we received a coliform positive at well 6. We then ordered, or necessary to do a boil water order. We had to do 2 consecutive days of testing. Everything had to come back good. We did that. We even tested our towers. Everything come back good. You have to wait 24 hours roughly on each test, so we did both of those. And then Friday evening, around 6, so we got everything clear. We've taken hundreds of samples at those test sites. This is just one where we got E. coli positive. Almost positive it was a test sample port itself, never was our water system. These are kind of supposed to have been state-of-the-art testing things that we got 7, 8 years ago. There's little stainless steel boxes, kind of like a phone box. But as of right now, our biggest issue is chlorine, keeping chlorine in our system. The way our hydraulics are laid out and everything the way it's plumbed. If we'd have had chlorine, they were residual, good numbers, none of this would ever happen. Wouldn't matter if you had something in there or not. It's something we worked on, I guess Malden worked on for many years. That's the priority now, is to get our hydraulics figured out. Just so we can keep constant chlorine. I know a lot of y'all's areas probably have high chlorine right now. You can probably smell it casing. I know Yvonne can. Other areas, nothing. We're having trouble keeping any chlorine on the air base. That's where the well is, it's pumping. My office, so we test our chlorine every morning, first thing when we get there. Most of the time it's not even registerable. Then Friday, all of downtown, I know Yvonne was extremely high, but Old City Hall, Welch's Loft, that whole area in there, it was off the charts. So we had to flush hydrants for about 3 hours to pull our chlorine numbers back down. It's a fine balance right now. We're trying to adjust our pumps. It's just minute adjustments make so much difference. It's not a steady number all over town. It's just driving us crazy. So that's where we are right now. Everything's good, but we'll be doing water samples again in about 3 weeks. We have to take 5 samples a month. Is that right, Jason? We do 5 a month? I have Jason Kirkman is here with DNR.
Chris Cannon.
Yeah, Chris Cannon, he's here with DNR, so if we have any technical questions from DNR, these are the water specialists. So they've been with us the whole time, helping us on everything. We've had them scratching their heads a few times, trying to figure out this. But I say if there's any questions anybody has, we'll try to answer them best we can.
We never really knew what the problem was, or do we know?
Well, 6, we don't know. That was coliform positive, right?
That was, but we also had repeats that came back coliform positive from the distribution system.
Right, from the distribution system, yes. So what we did, we took well 6, which is the well at Chevrolet Place. We took it offline. We,
Excuse me, can you speak into the mic? I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
Just don't make it.
Don't
That better?
Yeah, this was $40,000.
Really? Okay.
Really.
Start over now.
Well 6 is a well at Chevrolet dealership. That's where we had our bad sample. So DNR asked us to isolate that well. We did. We filled the column. That well is 1,000 feet deep. So we filled the column full of chlorine, let it set basically for 24 hours to disinfect, and we flushed it off. It's still not turned on to the system. We flushed, there's a blow off on the back of it. We did that. We isolated tower 1, which is the water tower at the power plant. We put a test port in the bottom of it. We sampled it, come back good. Everything's good on that, it's our source. We don't know, well 6, Jason, what's our, do we want to do more testing before we put that back into service?
No, I think, yeah, No, we can probably put it back on as it is, as long as it doesn't have chlorine in it.
Right.
But if you, I've got a lot of information I can give you guys, probably way more than you want to know, but if you want to know some more details on what we think's going on and things we know and things we're not sure about, I'll be glad to discuss that with y'all.
We're coming up, our water towers are inspected every 5 years. We have, I think it was 14, 15 when we had, 16 or 17, we had everything stripped, painted, redone inside and out. So we're coming up on our 5-year program. 26 will be our 5 years, so we're fixing to have it again. And so we'll have all that done inside and out. Right now, we're working on Tower 2 at the air base. We have a hydraulics issue with the check valve. We're working on that. Maybe we're hoping that thing's 1964. So we spent all day getting the lid off of a 1964 valve. And we're hoping that has a problem. It's going to fix some of our hydraulics, getting the water issued more, or distributed evenly to the system.
When the water lines were put in on the south end, does that have anything to do with it?
Excuse me.
When the water lines were put in on the south end of town, did that have anything to do with it?
The water lines?
Yeah.
No, it should- Actually, that should help. The old cast iron and steel lines that we're replacing, that builds up on the inside, that heats chlorine. That's one of the main things. Why should help. But until the project was done, we're still tied on those original steel lines that's feeding everything. So Malden water quality in Texas is actually good. It's the line that makes everything in Texas better. Especially the air base line. We laid over 100,000 feet on the air base.
We're also dealing with ammonia issues
Yeah.
at South Florida as well.
We first started with this before we had the samples. I had well number 6 at Chevrolet place is actually producing a lot of ammonia, which ammonia naturally destroys chlorine. I think it's 1 to 7, isn't it?
7-to-1 ratio.
Yeah. 1 part of ammonia will kill 7 parts of chlorine. And well 5, with military drill on the air base, is actually higher, but it produces less water. So that's another reason we back well 6 down. We're working on that now to put a variable frequency drive on it to actually slow the RPM down where it doesn't pump as much water. To maybe lessen some of the ammonia is going into it. Ammonia is defeating our chlorine basically. The chlorine we use is 12%, so not chlorine. You buy it at Walmart, the gallon of bleach is basically 4%, so we're 3 or 4 times
You
that.
said, I'm sorry, you said ammonia, where's ammonia coming
The
from?
ground, coming out of the ground.
Coming out the ground.
Now, 0.5, that's pretty,
0.6.
0.6, one was 0.6, one was 0.5.
One was 0.6, one was 0.64.
Oh, so that's parts per million, right? Okay. And that's pretty substantial, right?
That's a lot.
I'm a good bad thing at that.
Could you explain why we got into this situation?
Say it one more time, George.
Explain how we got into this situation?
I don't know if ammonia can get stronger. We don't know that. If it's a natural thing, probably ammonia has always been there. One of the tests they do, I guess, when they drilled that well, I don't guess they tested for ammonia. Ammonia is not a test that's usually done, on that. So, but the more water that well, the better the well, the more water it pumps, the more ammonia it pumps.
Why would it be such a discrepancy in different parts of the city?
On the way the chlorine is doing,
Yes.
just the hydraulics of the town, the layout of the hydraulics. Just the way the distribution system is set up, has been set up since I guess it was founded here. We don't pump directly to our towers. We pump into the distribution system. That needs to be remedied. We have basically no real loop system from the north end to the south end of Malden. We have one main 12-inch that goes from the school to the air base. The water basically goes back and forth in the same line and branches off.
So it doesn't pump into the overhead tanks? You just say it goes
Not
straight into the
directly, yes.
system?
It goes through the distribution system and then fills up the towers. It does not go directly to the towers. The ideal thing is to have them, your wells would pump either into a holding tank where they're chlorinated, coming in and going out, and then to the tanks, or have pumped directly to the tank, which in our situation will be a lot of high dollar retrofitting. Because you can't just run the pipe up, it has to go through the tower up into the top to mix it and all that. I mean, it'd be engineers and DNR will have to prove that, but that's all a big thing.
Well, I was under the impression it all went into the storage tank and then it was just distributed out through the city.
No, it is, but not directly. Yeah, the towers fill up, and then, you know, the wells will kick off, and as everyone uses water, as they drop, it's on a pressure system. When we hit a certain point, they'll kick on. We're on SCADA, the computer kicks everything back on. But, not the ideal way that it is. You know, it's how Malden's always been, I guess, on the system, just because of the extreme money that would be involved to retrofit now after everything. You know, well 6 at the Chevrolet place, you would basically have to run a dedicated line to one of the towers. And that's water line, you know, $35, $40 a foot. You're talking 2 miles. Just the piping would be astronomical. But that's one part of it. Or we could put a tower up at well 6. There again, $1 million.
$1 million.
Just to put a well now, we talked about maybe possibly putting a new well on the south end of town, and figure $1 million for a well. It's a shame we can't hire a carpenter to do that. It's $500 and we have done.
As a farmer, I'm familiar with the well, where I came from, the wells are 1,500 feet deep.
Yeah, well 6 is our deepest well. It's 1,000. I think the column's around 1,200. The military drilled well 5 and 4 on the air base in 1941. They're 850 feet. And they produce, you know, good water, but they're in the same aquifer. So therefore, if ammonia is in one, they're only 200 yards apart from each other, it's going to be in both of them.
So we're good for now, we're just trying to find a solution?
Just right now, we're trying to find a happy medium on how to set our chlorine pumps to not turn everybody's hair blonde,
Yeah.
but still have enough in there to kill any bacteriological thing that could happen.
But something's changed, it's wrong, right? Something has changed that's wrong, that is wrong, or is it just part of what we're pumping?
We think more than anything that one test site was contaminated on the outside. And when we test water, you let it run naturally for 15 or 20 minutes. We take a torch and we heat our test port to us glowing cherry red. They're stainless steel.
Yeah.
It should kill anything but a car driving by, the wind, something could fall out, you know, the test bottle you couldn't see. So I mean, it's just one of those things. I don't know. Jason, how often do people in town get E. coli positive?
Very rare.
Very rarely. Now, thick and coliform is
Very
Yeah, not nearly as common as E. coli.
Yeah.
It's still not often.
right. Just, you know, like I said, we've took hundreds of tests on that same port and never had anything. But all the stuff that causes after you get that boil water issue is a big deal.
So you're saying we have to test 5 times a month now?
Well, we always have to do that.
Oh, wait, that's what we're gonna ask, is that a
Yeah, we
normal
have,
testing
we take
schedule, or
5
can we do an
samples a
extra?
month, right, from different locations over Malden. And we have those test ports set up all the time. And then chlorine, we do chlorine residual every day. We most first thing in my office there, and then, but here lately, we've been going everywhere. And we're gonna start taking chlorine samples just routinely all over town, every spot. And we started going through, making sure every valve is open, make sure we can't find anything on that. Our hydraulic analysis and all that stuff. We know what, we can do something, maybe loop it some more lines from the air base to the southern end of town with the pipe that we have on stock would help. It's just something we can do without having to get into a bunch of line stuff.
Was anything affected if the fire department had to hook up to a hydrant? Lower levels anywhere, do anything?
No, when you flush a hydrant or a truck hooked to a hydrant, you're just pulling water that direction. I mean, actually, we were opening our hydrant truck on the south end of town, right next to that sample station, hoping we pull chlorine, you know, and it does help. Most times you have to run that hydrant for 3 hours to get the pull, you know. But the numbers are so, when Yvonne called me the other morning and said, you know, couldn't handle water, and so much chlorine in it. And I think a few blocks south of her, nothing. That's what makes you scratch your head and figure out what in the world is going on. It's what's on her house and why it's right here.
I have another question. Why was it breakdown in the general public being aware of the boil water? It was 2 or 3 days before some people even knew we had to boil water in the house.
That part I don't know. We notified everyone, and they put it on the Jumbotron, the Facebook, Channel 12. I don't know. It was on there the same day that we were issued that. So I don't know that part of it. I don't do that part of it.
Everybody gets their information differently. Well, we've fought this battle for years. No matter where you put it, somebody's going to say they didn't get it. So, and I believe that's on the citizens. We have a text alert system that's been there for years. If you have a house in here, you should be signed up for those text alerts. If you're not doing your due diligence. So, for that type of issue, for regular council meetings, all you have to do is post it on the window. Not everybody drives up to our area and sees the thing, but for something that severe, you should be signed up for text alerts, for weather alerts, for the school alerts, for other stuff. So that's on the citizens if they can't do their own research and sign up for stuff like that. It's not our job to go door to door and hold their hands.
And DNR did receive some calls on that. They called us checking, and I guess we all happy with the way we did everything on alerting everyone.
Yeah, the methods of public notification that the city uses are thorough. I mean, I agree with the mayor. You will not reach everybody. You wouldn't reach everybody if you went door to door, but the methods that you guys are using to notify the public are acceptable. There are actually several different ways of doing it, and it's kind of, to some degree, even more than most towns can go to the trouble of doing. So you're not ever going to satisfy everybody, but we do believe that the methods that you guys are using are sufficient.
I think so, I forget who sent me a message about doing KPS 12, and I don't get KPS 12, so I didn't think about them. But they put it on right away. But when I called them to tell it was lifted, they still haven't put anything that we've lifted that I've seen yet. So you can tell them, doesn't mean they're going to put it out there too. So.
Just some of those older people don't have it on computer.
Oh yeah, everybody gets it differently. So
That's why we put it on campus.
Yeah.
yeah, we put it on there. Just it was a good idea. I don't get it, so I'm not used to it. So. You think of the ways you normally do. So I think the text alert system is the best for us as a city, because people have everybody has a cell phone for the most part. They can sign up. We get those complaints all the time, but they got to do their due diligence too. It's like the information. I've got a lot of requests. Why don't you give this type of information? Why don't you Google it? You have Google. And it's not our job to tell them every little bit and how to do stuff and what to do with this and that. So, any other questions for Kurt? Anything for DNR while they're here?
DNR, anybody got any questions?
How often do other towns and stuff get boil water orders? Yeah, like just issues like this all the time. Like I saw Cape Girardeau had one recently. I know Hewlin had one recently.
So it depends on, a boil water advisory is pretty common. And a boil water advisory generally is called precautionary, and that's usually issued by the town whenever there's a reason like low water pressure, water main break, low chlorine residuals that does not coincide with E. coli positive samples. When you have an E. coli positive sample, and when it's confirmed, as it was in this case, then the department will issue a mandatory boil water order. And that's, it's not precautionary. There's confirmed contamination. We have to, the city is required to notify the folks that they need to boil the water. It also requires a little more, an extra day of samples to be able to come off that boil advisory, or that boil order compared to a boil advisory.
That, and then when we were under the advisory, the Western County Health Department guy came around. He said, no, for certain restaurants, that's an order. It doesn't matter if it's advisory or not. Why is that? What's the difference?
So the health department is in charge of, they have their own special regulations that apply to places that you eat, food, restaurants, and different places like that. The department looks at the community as a whole, but food service, gas stations, convenience stores, anything that serves food will be also regulated by the health department, especially when it comes to when there's confirmed contamination of the water.
Any questions?
So as a city, Huh?
Talking the mic.
So as a city, and due to the circumstances, are you happy and feel like we're doing everything that we are supposed to be doing and able to do?
Yes, but I would like, if you all have a couple minutes, I would like to just kind of tell you guys where we're at as far as things that might be coming down the pike with the department. So yes, anything we've asked the operators to do, we've asked the city to do, they've done it, they cooperated. But we have actually got enough bad samples at this point, and under the groundwater rule and the revised total coliform rule, if you get enough bad samples in a period of time, and usually that's a running 12-month period, it will start to ratchet up violations, and the city would be required, if you get enough bad samples and enough violations, you have to do corrective actions. And we're very close to having corrective actions to the point where the city will probably, if we continue to get, Chris, you may have to help me here, maybe one more batch of bad samples, which will trigger a level 1 assessment. And if we get another assessment, it will probably trigger what we call a BCA, which is bilateral compliance agreement. And in essence, what that means is the city will probably have to install mandatory chlorination. And I know we already have chlorination on the wells right now, but when it becomes mandatory chlorination, it's what we call it has to have 4-log virus inactivation. And that means you have to have chlorine, but you also have to have contact time. And right now, the city does not have contact time on any of its wells. Contact time means that you have the water is exposed to chlorine for a minimum of 30 minutes or whatever period of time that you're able before it ever goes to the first customer. So as it stands right now, Kirk talked to you about, that when the wells come on, they'll either pump to the tower or they'll pump to the distribution system, depending on what's calling for water. Unfortunately, a lot of times when it goes directly to the distribution system, it does not go up to the tower. It doesn't have any period of time to come in contact with the chlorine before it goes out to the customers. And what happens is the chlorine doesn't react long enough to kill bacteria, to interact with, or to deal with demand from the iron, the manganese, and the ammonia, which you guys do have fairly significant amounts in the water. So what happens is if you're required to do 4-log virus inactivation, 4-log chlorination, each well will have to have contact time, which means you're either going to have a tank that the water can go into and have 30 minutes of exposure before it goes to the customers. You could also have what we call a fat pipe, which is where you put piping in the ground that circulates back and forth to give you 30 minutes of contact time with the chlorine before it goes to the first customer. Or, as Kurt kind of mentioned earlier, you can retrofit the tanks to where the water does not have a choice to go in distribution or the tank. It is forced to go up into the tank. It spends 30 minutes in the tank, and then it comes out and goes to the customers. But the contact time is what will probably be required if you guys continue to get bad samples. We're very close to that.
But does that even fix the problem?
It would solve some of the problems. It would solve the problems probably with your bacteriological samples. It would help with the chlorine residuals a lot. I will tell you guys, talking with Kurt and with Jason, the hydraulics in town are really weird. And I can't begin to tell you exactly what all is going on, where the water goes and, where it's directed. And, part of the system is old, part of the system is new. You guys are replacing lines. So you've got in your older pipes, you've got a lot of buildup of iron and manganese and things in the water that will consume the chlorine. So an older pipe will naturally require a lot more chlorine to clean the water up versus a brand new PVC pipe that doesn't have a lining in it. The other things I wanted to point out to you guys, Kurt talked about ammonia a little bit. We actually tested all 3 of the primary wells that the city's been using recently, well number 6, well number 5, and well number 1, which checked them for ammonia. 4. And we did number 1 too.
One's
We
off
did
the
4
schedule.
wells, I'm sorry.
Maybe.
We did 4, 5, 6, and number 1 when you guys had well number 1 on. And what we found was that well number 5 and well number 6 had very high levels of ammonia. And as he mentioned, ammonia actually consumes, it's a ratio of 7 to 1 on chlorine consumption, which means if you didn't have any ammonia in the water, you would use 7 times less chlorine to meet your demand. As it stands with 0.6 parts of chlorine, if you multiply that times 7, what you come up with is about 5 parts of chlorine are consumed before it ever has any effect on bacteria or anything else in the water. So if you're feeding 50 gallons of bleach per month, and if we could get the ammonia out of the water, we would only feed 10 gallons of bleach a month. That's how much bleach you would need to meet the demand. It's the ammonia that's eating it up. We also found in well number 1 that the manganese was extremely high enough that it's above what we call a health advisory level. And I know we actually tried, the guys tried using well number 1 for a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks.
Couple days.
Yeah. And it helped a lot with the chlorine because it was another point on the south end of town to add chlorine. But the manganese in the water was so high that you guys triggered public notice because the manganese in the water was elevated at the point it exceeded EPA's health advisory level, and basically you got to stop using well number 1 unless it's treated. All 3 wells that you guys are using right now, 4, 5, 6, have something where treatment, if there was something we could do to the water coming out of them, it would improve the water quality in town a lot. But we are, as I wanted to mention, we are getting very close to requiring 4-log chlorination, which will have to be engineered. It will require some sort of a tank, redirecting the storage tanks, a fat pipe, something will have to be installed to be able to meet this 4-log chlorination.
Okay, question here.
Yes, ma'am.
Is this something that we can be proactive with, or are we going to be reactive and it's gone and?
So we've actually, this has been something we've kind of dealt with for several years. It got much worse this last year is when we saw the increase in the bad samples, and we actually did the testing that identified the ammonia. My best advice to you guys is hire an engineer and have an engineer do an engineering evaluation. What they will do, they'll look at the hydraulics of the town, they will look at the water quality in the wells to take into account the ammonia, the bacteria, the manganese, and they will come up with some sort of idea on how you need to treat the water going forward. And I really believe that we got to do something with the water quality, whether it's the 4-log chlorination with contact time. It could be aeration. One way that you remove ammonia from water is an aeration process, where you actually blow oxygen through a stream of water and it strips the ammonia out of the water. If you get rid of the ammonia, you reduce the chlorine demand a whole lot. So there are options here. I will tell you, none of them are cheap. They all have to be engineered, and y'all are kind of to the point right now, you've got to do something soon. But your best bet, my advice would be hire an engineer, have them do an evaluation of what you got, and they will give you, usually an engineer when they do that will give you 3 options. Some of them are simpler than others, some of them are more expensive than others, but they'll give you options on how to deal with the ammonia, how to deal with the chlorination. The hydraulics will be part of what they look at. And again, I don't know exactly what's going on with the hydraulics in town. It's really strange. Just the past week or so, you turn the well on and you leave one off, and the chlorine residuals change a lot. What we think is probably going on is that the demand for chlorine in well number 6 is so high that when it runs in conjunction with well number 5, it's using up lots and lots of chlorine. When you shut well number 6 off and you just fed well number 5, well number 5 still has a lot of ammonia in it, but it pumps at a much lower rate, and you can put more chlorine in proportion to the water, and when you do that, the chlorine residuals were much better. So it's kind of one of those things, if you decide to use all the wells, you're probably going to have some sort of treatment or chlorination contact time, or a combination of both.
And this is something that, for a fact, we're gonna need it, it's not maybe, or if.
You could continue on, assuming we don't get more bad samples, and I'm talking about bacteriological samples. The bacteriological samples is is where I think you guys are going to, you're probably going to be mandated to do something. The ammonia in the water, you can deal with it, you just have to feed a lot of chlorine. You're going to have a lot of customer complaints because chlorine's going to be high in some parts of town, very low in others. And you're probably also going to see, when you have a lot of chlorine in the water, in pipes that have a lot of iron buildup, it breaks that iron loose, and you get a lot of customer complaints from dirty water, brown water, red water in town. So you could probably get by dealing with the ammonia, but I have a feeling if we continue to get bad bacteriological samples, that's where we're going to come to a point where we have to enter into a BCA with the city to deal with the bacteriological samples.
And this is something that you all will keep about and getting apprised of, so we can
So
know
the city they'll have to collect their samples for October. They'll collect 5 samples, as Kurt mentioned. If you've got good chlorine residuals, which sometimes we do, sometimes we don't, then those samples should come back good. If the chlorine drops off in parts of town to where you have little or none, that's when you can get back to bacteriological growth, and that's when we get bad samples. Now, one of the other things we've asked Kurt to do, and I think McGuire Iron is supposed to be here in a week or so, is to have all your storage tanks looked at. What we did find was the last time the tanks were inspected, the company that did the inspection found that there are screens missing out of the vents on top of the storage tanks. And all you have is what I'm going to call a big punched metal screen that has holes big enough to allow insects to get into the water storage tank. And that can be a source of bacteriological contamination. You get ladybugs, wasps, flies that get into the storage tank. And insects are naturally attracted to the heat of the water, especially during the winter. And they'll get in a tank, they can't get out, they'll fall in the water, and they'll contaminate the water in the tank.
Now you're scaring me, now I don't drink water.
But then with that too,
But if you've got good chlorine there, a lot of times the chlorine will hide that.
Okay,
so we did samples on the tank, it was fine.
okay.
But the thing is juggling, we're gonna have samples coming up here in 3 weeks. We've got to make sure 2 weeks ahead of that, juggling with all these numbers, just so we got good chlorine to take that sample. We shouldn't have to do that. Everything should be steady. If we're using 15 gallons of chlorine a day per well, that should be a constant thing. Nothing should change. We're having to adjust our chlorine pumps to meet the hers is off the charts. My office has nothing. Everybody's don't know what chlorine is. That should not be like that. It just, I have no, I mean, if you pull it out, I don't know if, and I haven't researched with Jason, I don't know if ammonia can fluctuate, if it can get stronger, if it can be weaker, I don't know.
Usually in groundwater is pretty stable. It's probably been there all along. If you get little tremors or a drought year, a really dry year, your levels in your wells can fluctuate to the point where you might have a little bit of change, but it's probably something you've always had there. And I can tell you, we actually tested the wells 5-10 years ago, something like that, and we detected high ammonia, almost exactly the same amount of ammonia we got a couple weeks ago. So it's been pretty stable for the most part. It's just still
Could any of the pipes be busted to cause that? I mean, is there any pipes that busted, or you think there's any holes in pipes at all?
For the ammonia?
Yeah, I mean, just for the different,
No.
Ammonia is naturally
Naturally
occurring.
occurring.
It's breakdown of organic matter over a period of years and years, and it gets from the groundwater.
I was just saying because the flow of the water, you know, if it's, you know, I didn't know maybe there's a busted pipe.
Yeah, that's the first thing we started looking for, when first thing you always look for a big leak somewhere. We're pulling in contaminants from the ground.
See a lot of water usage or elevated water usage if you've got main breaks and stuff. But even on main breaks, and not that it can't happen, as long as the system's pressurized, the water is pushing out of the pipe, and the dirt doesn't get in the pipe. So as long as, even with water main break, if the system's pressurized, it's probably not going to be contaminated.
We were talking about this earlier. If you could take a drop of water, one drop of paint grit, coming out of that well, in an ideal situation, that one droplet would be in the tower, and then back out into the system, and your glass pretty soon. Some systems, probably ours, that drop of water might stay in that tower for 2 or 3 weeks.
That is one thing, I'm glad you mentioned that. One of the other things I talked to you about, that you may have to rearrange the piping that goes up into the storage tower. By having a distribution system where water can either pump to the distribution system instead of the tank, the water that'll get up in the tank sometimes can be, that water won't turn over, is what we call it, which means change out. It could be there for weeks, and while it's there, it consumes chlorine, and basically it's water that doesn't have any kind of chlorine at all, and when it does come out of the tank, that's why your residuals are sometimes high and sometimes very low. By redoing the piping inside the tank that forces the water to the top of the tank, and then it comes out a separate pipe, what you're doing, you're using the full volume of the tank. Not only do you get the contact time, but you actually force the water to go through the tank and then out to the customers versus just pushing it out in the pipes when the demand is called for it. So it serves two purposes there, but it does require retrofitting the tanks, and it's not cheap.
Speaking of cheap, do you have any influence on the grant programs?
I do not. We have a financial assistance center with the department. Your engineer, if you hire an engineer, your engineer will work through those sorts. I don't have any control of that. We can put you in touch with the right people, but
I've already reached out.
Bob's been working on it.
I've already reached out to them.
And we have met with one engineer.
We did meet with one engineer.
Preliminary discussion.
And I have contacted DNR's financial assistance to look for a grant to get an engineer for the water system, because they do have those. However, we do not meet that qualification because you have to have 3,300 population or less, and we're at 37, so we do not meet that threshold.
Get rid of part of the tank.
That's a big city.
So there is a grant through DNR. Well, right now, the grant cycle for emerging contaminants, they do have one for engineers if you have emerging contaminants, and the manganese is one of them.
Correct.
So they would do 100%. Even if we do a broad plan, they would only pay for the manganese section, 100%. Everything else would be on us. Right now, they've absorbed their funding for the engineer grant, but their cycle opens for construction in March. And if the city does get their own engineering, if we pay for it on our own, we could submit that in January, but they would only pay 100% for the manganese. That is all that there is out there for DNR. So I have been actively looking for grants.
Let's keep this informed.
Oh, absolutely. We do have a BPW meeting scheduled for next Tuesday at 5 to discuss this and how to move forward. So any of the council members are welcome to attend that meeting.
Anybody else have any questions for them? First, Kurt, tell all you guys thank you for all the hard work and stuff. DNR, we've seen you so much through the sewer district here. Do you want to rent an office space or something?
Maybe add another person to our population.
I do appreciate y'all having us out and giving us a chance to talk to y'all.
We appreciate you.
Thank you for
Thank you so much for everything. Next is we need to appoint Jesse as the interim city clerk. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion, be a second. Good job. There you go. Any discussion, comments, concerns? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No audible noes, motion carries. Our new judge, Mr. McCormick. Come on up, Jeff. You want to say anything to the council before we swear you in? You don't have to.
I've learned more about water than I will ever know. I can tell you that right now. I know more about water system than I ever cared to know about.
Yes.
No, I appreciate the opportunity. You know, and I know some of you may not know me. I've got my own law practice in Kennett. I've worked with Johns for a number of years. I did a term as prosecutor here in Duncan County. In fact, John started, I ran him off as my assistant. I'd like to have kept him, but he was my assistant prosecutor there. I appreciate the opportunity. I've worked with, of course, previous judges before, Judge Sandy specifically. When I first started my career, I worked with Mark Pryor. Mark Pryor was the city attorney at that time. I would have to fill in time to time for Pryor because if everybody knows Judge Pryor, he was always late, usually for anything he would ever do. But I'm happy, and I knew Judge Welch, of course, and so I'm happy to hopefully carry on their tradition, and I'm thankful for the opportunity, and I appreciate it. Wherever you want. Okay.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Jeff McCormick, do
I,
solemnly swear,
Jeff McCormick, do solemnly swear,
affirm, that I possess all the qualifications of a municipal judge,
that I possess all the qualifications of a municipal judge,
as prescribed by law for which I was appointed,
as prescribed by law for which I was appointed,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Missouri,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Missouri,
the provisions of all laws of this state affecting cities of this class,
the provisions of all laws of this state, affecting cities of this class,
and the ordinance of the city of Malden, Missouri,
and the ordinance of the city of Malden, Missouri,
and will faithfully demean myself, so help me God.
and will faithfully demean myself, so help me God. Need anything else from me?
I don't think, all right. Bad me. Yeah.
We're still looking for a clerk for the judge, so the judge is going to be helping us with the process.
I did send him the applications that we've received so far.
He is one main possibility.
Okay. Cool. All
Thank you
right.
very much.
Next, approval of minutes. Approval of public hearing minutes of August 18th, 2025. I'll entertain a motion to approve. Motion and a second. Any corrections, concerns? None being heard. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No audible noes, motion carries. Approval of regular council session minutes for August 18th, 2025.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments, concerns, or corrections? None being heard, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No audible noes, motion carries. Our city attorney just informed me we can do these all together too, so I'm going to do the next three together. Unless anybody wants something pulled out separately. Approval of special call council minutes for August 27th, September 11th, and September 15th. I'll entertain a motion to approve those three unless somebody needs something pulled out. We have a motion and a second. Any comments, concerns, or corrections with those?
I just have a question I need to make sure of, because I see where a couple of the August 27th meeting, it shows I was absent from votes. Is that the night we were here all night and I left early?
Yes.
Is that it?
Yeah, you were absent at the end of that meeting. You left early, yes.
Okay.
We have right on that.
Pretty much. Thank you.
Any other comments, corrections, or concerns? None being heard, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? No audible noes, motion carries. Treasurer's report, Ms. Angela.
Your financials for the month of August are as follows. Cash in the general fund, $1,425,396.56. COVID federal funding is $0. Total cash in the cemetery fund, $166,581.92. Park local tax fund, $49,966.89. Park Frisco Park splash pad, $133,059.92. Malden Department of Economic Development Fund, $43,004.90. Street Capital Project Fund, $443,691.78. Solid Waste Management Fund, $6,270.35. Capital Improvement Fund, $471,262.76. For total cash and cash equivalents of $2,792,995.03. Total city debt was $1,754,915.34. I would entertain any questions you have at this time.
Do you have any questions? None being heard? Thank you. Next is aviation project agreement.
In your packet, starting on page 109, is a contract agreement that need to have the mayor authorized to sign. This is for a pavement study for runway 1432.
You got a problem with it, or just something you gotta do every once in a while?
This is something, they're requiring us to have this pavement study done before they'll approve any work on the runway to see what it's going to take to fix it.
So there's problems.
Yeah, it needs to be addressed, so, and if you'll, I don't know, you've seen the budget, it's a $227,000 project, the airport is on the hook for $10,000, or $20,000, 10% of it, so.
You have any questions, concerns? Want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
There's a motion by Mr. Coleman to approve, authorize the mayor to sign the agreement. Do we have a second? Second. Oh, second from Mr. Dirk, seconded. Any comments, concerns? Comments? None being heard, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? No audible noes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. Next, DNR wastewater engineering grant.
Yes, this agreement is an oversight on my part. This is the agreement for the engineer that was selected by the Board of Public Works for the wastewater engineering grant that we were approved for back in the beginning of the year. I did have it on the agenda back in February, but we pulled it because we were still waiting for more information back from DNR. And that was an oversight on my part, that once DNR approved it, I did not bring it back to City Council to get that approved. The engineers have been working here with this project. We did meet with DNR and have the preliminary hearing with the engineer, and this was kind of brought to my attention the other day that it was missed out. So I'm bringing it to the council now to go ahead and accept and authorize the board, authorize the mayor to approve this. I take full responsibility for the oversight.
I'll make a motion.
Motion, Mr. Coleman, do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Downs. Any comments, questions, concerns? None being heard, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No audible noes, motion carries. All right, we had a request from the BYM about doing some food trucks with their events every once in a while. They were supposed to bring us some information, and their director has failed to do it, so we are going to table this or take it off the agenda for now. They were asked last week, and they just didn't get it to us. So we'll go to number 13, sale of city property, Old City Hall.
So, I'm sorry?
Somebody wants to buy it?
Well, we'd like someone to buy it.
This is just an RFP, right? An RFP?
Right, a request for proposal. So we put this proposal together and I had John review it. The old city hall is ready to be, for us to get rid of it. Mandy had cleaned out just about all of it. There are some stuff left in there, some file cabinets and chairs, but just about all our files are out of the building. So I put this together so we can try to get rid of that building because we are paying utilities on that. So I don't know if anyone has questions regarding the RFP. I did give it 2 months. I'd like to put it off October 1st if it's approved, to be back December 1st and give 2 months. That way, within the RFP, we're requesting a plan. And that would also allow whoever's interested to have their financial situation together if they're going to be putting up a large proposal.
I don't know what you're talking about, so how are we selling? I mean, what's an RFP?
A request for proposal?
Okay.
So in what I sent it to the council on Saturday to review it, but it's in here and it has basically all the requirements that, you have to submit a plan, you have to submit financial information and things of that nature in here. And this isn't that one.
So we're gonna look at the RFP on terms of how we're gonna sell it, basically?
Right, so the RFP is so someone's gonna look at it and say, okay, I can do something with this building. This is what I want to purchase this building for because this is a plan. And it is CR, commercial residential. So someone can come in and put multiple lofts in there. Or multiple apartments. Or they could turn it into a restaurant, they can turn it into, office space. But when the request for proposal is, they'll put all that together, then they'll have it to us and the council will meet, and then the council will meet as well to determine which is the best proposal that's feasible for the city. That has, and my recommendation is to look for jobs and revenue source. So this gives the citizens, the people out there 2 months to get that together.
Do we have an appraisal on it?
We do not have an appraisal on it. I'm going to get information from David on who he uses on the airbase and get an appraisal on it. I do have the deed. I did get the deed today from the collector, from the deeds office at the county, so I have that in my possession. So it's up to the council if you want to move forward or if you want to continue putting it on hold, or what would the council like to see done with the building.
I say we see what we do with it. Yeah, it's not frozen.
And I have it in the proposal that the city council is under no obligation to accept any proposals, and we can put everything on hold if we need to.
Is there a minimum that we're gonna accept for it?
There is not a minimum, because the building is as is, and we haven't gotten.
So I can offer you $1?
If they have a plan to put 10 jobs in there, it's possible.
Is that an offer?
Yeah. Yeah.
You could get that. There has been some interest in the past on it because of being an old bank. I guess people collect old banks for reasons, I don't know. There has been some interest in the past. I don't know if those people are still interested, but there's a lot of issues with that building, so good luck to whoever tries.
So if the council would like to have a minimum on there, then if you guys want to discuss and, or wait till the appraisal comes back and then have it, at least we get the appraisal value.
I don't even know why you wouldn't pay for an appraisal. I think we're going to end up getting what we can out of it. That's going to be kind of the end of it.
Because it's in there that it's as is, and we all know we've got serious roof issues, we've got electric issues, and we got sewer issues.
Have we got all of our personal stuff out of there?
We've got a majority of our stuff. Right now, we just have some alternate desks and chairs that we just have to move out. The court documents are still in the vault, but once we go ahead and get rid of the building, those court documents will be moved to the BPW vault until we decide what we're doing with the BPW office. The BPW office still needs to be cleaned out,
We just haven't had a chance to go ahead and clean that one out yet. But we figured with City Hall, it's in, the longer it sits, the more worse of the shape it's gonna be in, so we have no use for that, so.
Did Casey make a motion to the first reading? Is that what the motion was?
A long time ago.
Huh?
Long time
Proceed
ago.
without,
Second it?
without
An appraisal?
appraisal?
I wouldn't get an appraisal on it.
I would,
Just proceed.
this guy has an idea what we're looking at.
You're gonna get what you're gonna get, in my opinion. You ain't get appraised for $1 million, because it's only worth 60, it's only worth 60.
All right, do it. So, yours is, what's your motion? Repeat your motion.
I'd say we pursue selling it without an appraisal.
Do we have a second on that motion?
Yes.
Okay, we have a second. I think I heard two. I'm gonna go with Harold. I think I heard that one first. Is there any further comments, questions, or concerns about that? That being heard, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed?
No,
We have one audible no. I'm gonna poll the council like I always do. Jesse, will you poll the council on this vote?
Councilmember Beckett?
Yes.
Councilmember Jones?
Yes.
Councilmember House?
Yeah.
Councilmember Jenkins?
Yes.
Councilmember Coleman?
Yes.
Councilmember Downs?
Yes.
Councilmember Dirks?
no,
Councilmember Grant?
6-2, motion passes. All right. Let's see what we can get for it. Going forward. All right. Next, city administrator's report.
So I submitted on September 2nd the request for bids for the municipal audit. So those are expected to be back on October 14th. That is that Tuesday after Columbus weekend. So once those all come back, we'll go ahead and get those opened and we'll review them, then I'll have them for the council for the October meeting so that we can go ahead and see who we want to select. So far, I've only received one proposal, but like I said, we have till the 14th. For clerk, I will be working with Jeff McCormick. Like I mentioned earlier, I sent him the applications. David will be working with him as well as far as doing interviews on that. We did put that out for a part-time position, but if Judge McCormick feels that a full-time is necessary, we also have full-time classification, and then we'll have to put that out again for advertisement. Splash pad, they were due to be in this week. To start that, we have been pushed off till the second week of October, unfortunately. I'm checking periodically to get an active date on that. The last thing I have, Malden Board of Public Works is hosting our monthly Southeast Missouri, Northeast Arkansas utility meeting. Every month we meet with a different city and a different city host. This month it's Malden's hosting, so it'll be Wednesday, October 8th from 10:30 to 1. I'll have a guest speaker and other members of all the other cities that we are joined with. And we'll have some engineers here as well, so we'll have a presentation and we also have lunch. That will be catered by Diana Rogers, so the council is all invited to attend that.
What day?
October 8th, it's Wednesday, October 8th, from 10:30 to 1. So each city's responsible for getting a speaker and then also providing lunch. So it's once a year, so this month is Malden's year, October is Malden's turn. And I will also invite, the BPW is also invited, and I have some city employees attending as well on the utility side. I will remind the council closer to if you're interested. That's all I have. Thank you.
Council liaison reports, Mr. Beckett. Mr. Coleman.
Yeah, these microphones suck.
I'm working with them. They sent me we met with them and to tell them to swap these out and do something different. They sent me a quote for $9,000, so I didn't even entertain that. So we have a call scheduled to find out what else we can do because we've already paid, like you said, $40,000. We're not paying.
We shouldn't pay nothing.
Very much more.
I mean, it was one of the basic things we asked for, just to be able to talk to them. And everybody sits this far away from them to talk, so nobody hears nothing until they get close enough that barks in their
Right.
face.
We have looked at some options of having,
Over to muffle it? Could you guys buy foam pieces to go over it to muffle it?
But it doesn't hear it, so, I mean, can you hear me now?
Yes, but that's because I actually have good hearing. I can't hear you.
That's all. I mean,
Do what?
It just, it should, I mean, look, if I touch this barely, it picks that up, they won't pick up my voice, so.
But if you leaned closer to it and had something that kind of muffled it, wouldn't pick up sounds as well.
I don't know, but again, for 40,000, it should have been included.
No, I don't disagree with
Yeah.
you on that one. I'm just trying to find a solution that's not going to cost another how much?
Yeah.
9,000.
Yeah.
So we have looked at other options, and especially having them shorter, because they're so high up, having them shorter. So we are looking at another option. Yes.
Yeah, they should be able to do something. Because, I mean, it does do this, it doesn't play music, and there's, you know, for
I
$40,000.
need the camera work and everything so we can do our YouTube live so the public can have it.
It's like Charlie. This is Charlie.
Well, I mean, the cameras work, you just haven't turned them on until we get the speaker situation.
Maybe for other things.
These aren't the same.
If you're wrong.
Guarantee it would.
Yeah, that's the same system, same speakers in the ceiling.
I thought they were so
I
sensitive.
think we should have a truce.
At the old city hall?
Huh?
These are the new ones that we just purchased.
These are the new ones that were purchased through here. The old city hall was those flat ones. We tried using those that first meeting that didn't work.
That's more of what I was interested in,
The tabletop.
a tabletop one. And we're looking at different options. And the thing is with different options, we have the speakers. So that's where kind of the cost would come in because we have to change the speakers as well.
So,
I'm trying to find the most inexpensive replacement as possible.
there should be no cost at all. I mean,
You would think.
They bid that it would work.
This would be like a lawsuit for me, and I'll have to 40 that, would you not, I mean, come on. It does not work.
If I only got $2,000 here.
It's, yeah,
No,
I mean, I would hound the company that put it in there.
I'm working with that.
Can we put it in the, yeah, exactly, it's awful, it's awful. My next thing is for the new clerk, congratulations. I see you put these little tabs for the naked pages on there, which I love. Could you put it on the one you sent out to us?
Okay, yeah.
Because at home, and it was just, it's a nightmare to try to go through it all. Yeah, but if you would do that, that would be fantastic. And thank you.
Stand on the same. Take it to the mic.
Mr. Dirks.
I was.
You're next.
I don't know what to say.
He wanted these numbers put on the agenda that Jesse sends out to you guys before we post it. That way it'd be easier when you're home to look at these before we post it to the website.
I mean, it's fine, but I sit here and when we go from page 13 to 14 and then to page 108, she's usually through with her report by the time I get to the page, so.
But if you, there's a line over here, if you touch that line and you just hold it, you can go, no, you can go all the way down.
Mine goes away.
If you don't lift your finger, it won't go away.
Mr. Dirk said he had nothing. Harold, nothing. Ms. Grant.
I have one thing, Mayor. Someone already might know about this. I've had 3 or 4 people in the past week talk to me down here across by the railroad track there on South Madison, you know where our gas pumps are at? Across the street, 18-wheelers have been parking there for years. There's oil, about 8 holes out there full of oil and diesel fuel. And I believe it's soaking into the ground. Now, it rained over this past week, and I went down and looked, and when it started seeding, there's oil on the grass. Now, I don't know if it's a danger or whether It belongs to a railroad, it belongs to the city, or,
I was told along the railroad, but we'll look into it.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that's,
We'll find out for you by the next meeting.
I don't know what, I'm sure it's coming from a piece of truck. But it does look it might be bad. That's all I have, thank you.
Jeff, will you look into that, please? Yes. Thank you.
Huh?
That is relevant.
I believe it's really good. Just double check. It's Jenkins.
I received several calls about dogs, you know, I'm a dog whisperer now. And this was in Ward 2, and I'm like, there were was it bulldogs this morning? I talk loud. 2 bulldogs this morning that had people trapped in their cars, in their houses. And they called the police station and Becky didn't answer because evidently she was off, but called the police station and the dispatcher said, I'll let somebody know as soon as I can. Not a good situation, and I was asked, who did they call? And I said, Chief. Call me, I got his number. But that was a situation that it was terrifying. I heard it took quite a bit of time for them to get out and get the dogs, so the people could actually get into their homes.
The person called me at the same time. I don't know if it's the same person we've talked to, maybe 2 different people.
I talked about 3 or 4 people.
I keep my radio on in the office, and the police were actually working in another scene somewhere else, so they were dealing with something else. They couldn't be there right away, but they did get theirs down the road, and I think Tiffany was going to put them in cage 8 and 10, I think.
Yeah.
I heard over the radio.
We got them
And-
apprehended.
Unfortunately, without Becky being there, the policemen, if they were busy on another job, they couldn't get to them right away. But yeah, my understanding of the dispatcher probably could have relayed that better too.
That's why I
So
was saying.
maybe the dispatcher could be a little bit more helpful.
I understand them being on a job and everything, but that's a lackadaisy way of,
Yeah,
Tell them
the way they pitched it to me too, I got it. But luckily, I have a radio, I can listen to what's going on, so I was able to tell them that. Not everybody gets that, and the dispatcher probably can't relay a lot of information, but should have done something differently. So we'll talk about that and get it fixed.
and I'd just like to remind people of the October 10th fundraiser for Josh Doyle here at the community center. All you can eat fish, barbecue, and the sides. $20 a ticket, and they have guns, I think they're selling.
They got raffles and stuff,
I
yeah.
hope I win one. So please, please, please come out and donate. He is
What
one-
time?
What time is it? My ticket.
I think we have it shared on our Facebook page. We'll get it shared out there, but
Yeah.
we'll text the council.
Yeah, it's the 11th, I know
There's
that.
a flyer.
Oops.
11 or 10.
11th, Saturday, October 11th, from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. You need tickets, I got them. But let's really come out. He's fighting
Yeah.
right now. Listen,
Thank you.
Did we ever come up with a solution for the standing water in front of Walmart and Pizza Hut?
No.
You said that's not ours?
No.
That lot right there is owned by 3 different people. The sections, in the past, some of them wanted to give it to us, some did, and we can't really put city funds into something that's not ours. And I think the shortest distance is the bore under the tracks, correct me if anybody wants to, and that's a $50,000 bill in itself to get permission to bore under the tracks. So it's been a standstill. We've helped them clean it out several times. They're great. I guess semis park there too and pop their tires and stuff, and the grates get full of gunk, and Kurt and them have been generous enough to suck it out, even though we shouldn't be. They should pay for somebody to do that, but with the help of the citizens, we've done it.
And that includes the alley that's right behind Pizza Hut?
I don't know, I don't know if that drains there, or when Pizza Hut did their stuff around there, I know they did some work and may push back, maybe on them for pushing it their way. I don't know on that one.
I know.
It's never been brought to my attention, we can look at it in the grade of the ground and stuff on that.
I know when we were, the city had cleaned it out, and now it drains within 24 hours. Before the city cleaned it out, it took days to drain. So by cleaning it out, we did help. But at that time, we were actively trying to work with the bank, because that piece right there belongs to the bank. So we were trying to work with the bank, and we were going to donate the city's labor
But the bank, and I have it in writing that they've refused to put any money towards that, because that does not affect their business. So that's when we kind of just walked away, we just cleaned it for them and we walked away.
Walmart has no entity in it. Walmart just rents that building. They have their sign in the middle. I don't know whether the 3 entities will charge Walmart rent for that sign. It's always been called Link Walmart, and everybody considers it part of Walmart, but Walmart really has nothing to do with it. It's the rest. Yeah, obviously, there's been floaties out there. There's been kayaks in it. Like, seniors have fun with it every year. So, there was a project we tried several years ago. We wanted a big push for them. We did a lot of work for them, but there was no help from the entities themselves. Some of them helped, some of them didn't. So,
Essentially, the real estate is split between the bank and the land holding company that owns the buildings of Pizza Hut and the grocery stores. SCFRC Funding 3 LLC is the landowner for the grocery store and Pizza Hut, and then the bank owns the remainder of the parking lot, roughly in the middle of where the water would pool.
looking at this, Walmart really only has like 3 rows of parking, and that's it. All the rest is the banks and Harps. So.
Well, I'm interested more in Pizza Hut because I have to go through that alley to get home. I mean, I'm getting into my garage, and it's big potholes. There's water standing.
Talking about the big Pizza Hut?
Yeah,
That's private property back there, isn't it?
there's an alley. That alley is, who would it belong to?
I don't know if it's an actual alley or just utility easement.
Yeah.
That's something we have to look into.
I don't know.
Well, I'll look into it.
I'm not sure. That's what I'm asking.
I'll look into it.
It appears to be platted, because it's not, because if we had an easement, it would show private ownership. There's an actual,
Oh,
it appears to be a platted.
We'll look into it more.
Okay.
More information. That one's never really been brought up to us, so it's the first, at least I've heard of it in 9 years, so
Okay.
we'll gladly look into it.
All right, thank you. That's all.
That's all you hear from Mayor's report, Lynette stole Mr. Doyle's fundraiser. Please come out and support him. I don't want to give out their personal information, families in need, and he's struggling some, so Chief and them all be a part of it, I'm sure. Sheriff's Department's been a big help with that. Thank all the employees that have been dealing through this water issue. Citizens, regardless how they feel about it, I thank them for putting up with what we have to put up with. So it's all part of being here. We have union committee meeting for police tomorrow. For those that are on that committee, I'm here at City Hall. And other than that, I'll entertain a motion to go back.
Who's on that committee?
What?
We have some people on the committee. Who's all on the union committee?
Justin, do you have that? We'll pull it up.
Well, let me just, been on the committee, because I've seen her in
Well, if you received the email from me this weekend, then you're on the committee. With the union information, then you're on the committee.
You're all welcome to come, but for it. We've been to so many meetings, I wish I could get it.
Yes, if you received an email from me this weekend with the union stuff, then yes, you're on the committee.
I'll entertain a motion to go into closed session via legal RSMO 610.021 subsection 1, personnel RSMO 610.021 subsection 3, and section 610.021 subsection 13. Do I have a motion to go back into closed session? Ms. Jenkins?
Second.
Second. Ms. Downs, will you please do a poll the council?
Councilmember Beckett?
Yes.
Councilmember Jones? Yes. Councilmember House?
No.
Councilmember Jenkins? Councilmember Coleman?
Yeah.
Councilmember Downs?
Yes.
Councilmember Dirks?
Yes.
Councilmember Grant?
Mr. House is having to leave. We've got procedure in the morning, right?
And 12 of them more around.
We'll keep you in our prayers and thoughts. So,
Take care, Robert.
the rest of us will
Take care, Robert.
go into closed session after a 3-minute recess. Let you use restrooms, do whatever you guys gotta do.